Wikileaks founder Julian Assange appeared in public for the first time since taking refuge inside Ecuador's embassy in London 2 months ago. Last week, the South American nation granted Assange political asylum as he fights to avoid extradition to Sweden on sex crimes allegations. Yesterday, Assange spoke from a small balcony at the Ecuadorian embassy. In his speech, he accused the United States of persecuting Wikileaks and issued a list of demands for the American government.
I ask President Obama to do the right thing. The United States must renounce its witch hunt against Wikileaks. The United States must dissolve its FBI investigation. The United States must vow that it will not seek to prosecute our staff or our supporters. The United States must pledge before the world that it will not pursue journalists for shining a light on the secret crimes of the powerful.
Assange has claimed that efforts to extradite him to Sweden are part of a move by Washington to eventually make him stand trial in the U.S. for leaking classified government documents. The White House declined to comment yesterday, but on Saturday said that Assange's fate is up to Sweden, Britain, and Ecuador to resolve. Joining us by phone is Annemarie McAvoy, former federal prosecutor and adjunct professor at Fordham University Law School. Annemarie, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you on this morning. Ecuador granting Assange political asylum, the British government saying that they will not allow safe passage. We're at a stalemate here. What happens next?
Well, nobody really knows exactly what's going to happen. There are a couple of possibilities, though. One is that perhaps some agreement will be reached amongst these countries. Britain could allow Assange to have safe passage to Ecuador, although I think that's probably unlikely to happen. Britain also has the option, apparently, under some of its laws, to essentially no longer treat the embassy as territory of Ecuador, which is the way it would be treated right now, and so that they could actually enter and take Assange out. It's a law that they don't put into effect very often, but they could take away their diplomatic rights to that property and go in and take him. It's also possible that they may negotiate something so that Assange will just be turned right over, where Ecuador will back off and allow Assange to be turned over to Sweden.
Assange said on Sunday, go on ahead, I'm sorry, I'll let you finish.
Well, and you know, so, or he could just stay there. We could have basically a stalemate that could go on indefinitely, with Assange essentially stuck in this small apartment, which is an office, is in a position where he's almost, it's as bad or almost worse than house arrest because he doesn't have the comforts of home, so to speak.
So let's say he does decide to stay there. How long could this go on?
If none of the parties act, this could go on, I mean, conceivably it could go on for years. Although it's unlikely that Ecuador wants to be in that position, it's likely that Great Britain and Sweden are putting a lot of pressure, probably the United States as well, on Ecuador to work something out with them so that this is stopped, and Ecuador will be squeezed in an effort to try to get this resolved. And I don't think Ecuador, in the long term, will want to stay in the position of being the ones to protect Assange, because at some point it's no longer worth their while to do this.
Obviously, Assange is getting some advice, at least some guidance from his lawyers. If you were in any kind of position around, let's say, Assange at this point, what is something that maybe a lawyer would be telling him right now?
Well, his best possibility right now is to just stay put. If he sets foot outside of that apartment, he'll be immediately arrested. At least that's what it looks like. So the only thing he can do right now is stay there. As soon as he moves, he's going to be arrested and sent to Sweden right now. So, and once he goes to Sweden, these women are saying, we're not being pressured to bring these charges. They're claiming that there was sexual misconduct, and they want to press charges. So they seem pretty insistent about it, so it doesn't seem like that's going to go away anytime soon. So the best thing he can do for himself right now is to just stay put. And he's been amazingly cagey as far as finding ways to stay away from being moved to where he needs to be so he can be prosecuted. He's a slimy character, that's for sure.
Assange said that the U.S. needs to stop this witch hunt against him and WikiLeaks. Is there any indication that the U.S. is trying to put Assange on trial?
Well, there certainly is an ongoing investigation. There is a criminal case against Private First Class Bradley Manning. That case is not going to go to trial for a couple of months yet, most likely. It might be as early as next month, but it'll probably be a few more months before he actually goes on trial. There's no pending case against Assange at this point. Could one be brought? Certainly. It depends what the evidence is going to show. Apparently, it would seem that there probably is an FBI case open. It appears that there's a Virginia grand jury that's looking into what happened here. If they can link Assange to Manning, then there certainly will be a case against him at some point. But right now, we don't know that for sure. Depends how Assange got the information from Manning. It depends if Assange was involved before Manning actually took the information from the military, or whether he was only involved afterwards and wasn't part of the conspiracy, so to speak, to try to get these documents. It also depends if Manning decides at some point he may want to cooperate. When he's actually faced with starting a trial, he may decide that he doesn't want to go forward and that he would prefer to give up whatever information he has. And if any of that involves Assange, there's a good chance then that would be used to bring a case against him. But right now, there are no pending charges against Assange in the United States, and the United States is not seeking extradition at this point.
All righty. Annemarie McAvoy, former federal prosecutor and adjunct professor at Fordham University Law School. Annemarie, thank you so much.
Thank you.